you're going to see a beautiful display of violence. I will get my hand raised. I'll do whatever it takes to get my hand raised. Doesn't matter what broken bone I have. Doesn't matter what I have to do to get it. I will do it. I will go through hell and back to get that world title.
I love this. We've got Chaos back on BT Sport. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Just ready to bring the bang to NYC.
I like it. And I also like as well that you've gone with the NYPD cap there for obviously the first responders. Sensational stuff, man. I like it. Nice little bit of a tribute to the guys doing some serious work here in New York City.
That's right. That's what this fight is about all weekend, is giving back to those that protect our freedoms, and so we can have law and order here in America, and so it's not the wild, wild west, So, God bless the first responders, NYPD, and all law enforcement all across the country that keep this country so great.
We have got a lot to talk about, mate. Lots to talk about. First question for you is this. 2019 December, you give us one of the best fights that we've ever seen. It was absolutely tremendous in Las Vegas. We were all captivated by it. Why is it taking it so long to get a rematch?
It's taken so long because Marty's avoided the rematch. He was looking to fight more lightweights. He was begging to fight Nate Diaz, a guy who hasn't won a fight in 5-6 years. He was looking for any way to not fight me and rematch. This is the fight that people wanted right away. It should have been ran back right away, but I was robbed of that because blatantly the ref that ref the last fight, Mark Not So Goddard, called an early stoppage. I was still in the fight. We signed up to go out on our shield. He didn't let me go out on my shield, so I got robbed, and that's why they didn't run it back right away. He was looking for easy paychecks that he could pick off, and now he got his hand forced, and he has to fight me now. And now, what a better way to come to the most iconic arena in the world, Madison Square Garden.
What are your thoughts on that first fight? Now that you've obviously had time to digest it all, I've no doubt you've watched it back like we have. What are your thoughts on it and on how it all played out?
My thoughts are, if I can do that on my worst night, and that's his best night, then I feel very confident going into this weekend. There was a lot of things that in the lead up to that fight that went wrong for me, with the weight cut, not the weight cut because I don't really cut weight, but with the way that the PI gave me food, they sent it across Vegas. It was like a 30-minute drive. It stayed in the car, and I really feel like the chicken got spoiled, and I was puking, man. I mean, I had to have Clint and the other guy at the UFC PI come over. They saw me puking 20 times, 2 nights before the biggest fight of my life with Marty, and I knew I wasn't at 100% going into that fight, and I was still able to do that. So with fighting 2 people that night, because that ref made a lot of questionable calls, and you could clearly see in between the rounds, he's pulling me back. He's never touching Usman. He's just taking my energy, grabbing me, telling me to calm down, never saying anything to Marty. So that shows me a lot about who I am as a fighter and the character I have, and I just know that there's no way I'm not getting my hand raised this weekend.
On the questionable calls, as you call them, what do you... Because I was watching the fight on the plane on the way over, and obviously the groin strike that never happened, and it's not a groin strike. We see that we can see the camera. It isn't a groin strike. And in that particular moment, you are in the ascendancy of the fight. And then the momentum of the fight switches in that particular moment. I'm not making excuses for anything. I'm just saying what I saw.
For sure.
What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, everybody knows how big momentum is in sports, and when you rob someone of momentum in the heat of the moment like that, I clearly kicked him in the liver. He was clearly hurt, and he was looking for any way to get a timeout. Oh, let's call the nut. It was kind of close to the nut, so maybe I can get away and call a fake shot. Man, people are going to be able to read that back and see that on camera, that he's just a terrible actor. The same thing later in the fight in the 3rd or 4th round. I barely touch his left eye. He's claiming, oh, my right eye, my right eye. That's how concussed he was, because I had just landed a high kick on him, and he was still wobbly, and he's out there being a bad actor. So, with that nut shot that he called, supposed nut shot, I mean, it was just clear that the ref was showing bias for him that night. I mean, he's calling fouls that aren't there against me, but then when there are fouls, like even at the end of the fight, look at the end of the ending sequence of the fight. The guy's hitting me directly to the back of the head. Is that not illegal? I thought you came to the back of the room and you told me before the fight, like, you're not allowed to hit in the back of the head. If you do, I'll have to stop the fight right away and give a break. So he gives him the breaks. He doesn't ever give me a fair shot at it. So it wasn't fair. And this weekend we're going to settle it.
Performance-wise, it's a close fight. It's a kickboxing fight. Now, when I analyse your other fights, for example, the one that you've had since that with the Tyron Woodley fight, I see a lot more Colby Covington in the Tyron Woodley fight, where there's kicks involved, there's setups, there's a lot more wrestling base. When you analyse the performance of the first fight, do you think to yourself, I should have done Colby Covington? rather than get involved in a kickboxing match?
I do think that, I went away from my game plan. I went away from what I'm good at and what's got me to this point in my career. And, I just think that it was bad coaching at the time, and since that fight, I left my old gym and I've hired out new coaches, and I have great new coaches that surround me now. I have Cesar Carnero, Daniel Valverde working on my wrestling, judo, and jiu-jitsu game, and then my strength and conditioning coach, Jonathan Lopez. So now I have real coaches that are keeping me to my game plan and making sure I'm focused on our strategy and not getting emotional. That first fight, I got emotional. I wanted to put it all on the line. I wanted to put a good show for the fans, but sometimes putting on a good show to the fans, you're not reaching your full potential and you're not living up to who you can be as a fighter. So this fight, you're going to see a whole different Colby Chaos Covington, and it's true. It's not a gimmick. It's not a promo. Colby Covington 2.0 is coming this Saturday night.
Is that the most important learn from the first fight, that cool head situation? Because as you've just said, when you get emotional in a fight, the game plan goes out the window, and it's important to maintain the game plan if you're going to get your hand raised and become the champion come Saturday.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, I think the most important to staying to that strategy, not getting emotional, is having people around you, coaches that are going to tell you that. In the last fight, I didn't have coaches to level me out and keep me grounded and say, hey, Colby, calm down, just breathe, let's stay to our game plan, stick to our strategy. But now I'm reminded that every single day I train with Cesar Carnero, Daniel Valverde, Jonathan Lopez. These guys, they bring the best out of me. They bring something out of me that I didn't think existed. And that's why I'm so confident heading into this Saturday night that I will defy all the odds.
It's an important point that you're making there regarding coaching and teams. Because I've always found this bizarre in MMA, because I watch a lot of boxing and follow a lot of boxing. And boxing camps are set up specifically for a fighter. It's all about that particular fighter. You bring in your training partners, X, Y, and Z, in order to cater for that particular fighter. Whereas in previous gyms that you've been in, obviously there's plenty of fighters training for fights all at the same time. So you get your time on the mat and that's it. How much of a difference has it been for you over the last couple of years, where it seems to be all about Colby Covington now rather than Colby Covington being a bit player in a gym?
Yeah, that's been the best part of the last 2 years of my training and development and evolution as a fighter. Is now everything's centered around my training, my game plans, and my structure for whatever training camp I'm going to prepare for a certain fight. So before, I never had that. Before, it was, come to a team practice, train with a big team, and that's that. You don't get that one-on-one personal detail that you need for each of these high-level fights. And going into these pay-per-view fights for world championships, you should be able to get that type of attention because you're bringing a certain type of exposure to the gym and the coaches, and you're getting bigger paychecks than these guys that are at the lower level. And this is something that I earned. So now that's just why I feel so confident, and I've gained so much valuable experience with these guys. Is just everything is catered around me. They give me all their effort, all their energy, and before, I just never had good energy surrounding me. Now I truly have good energy surrounding me, and these people truly have my back. There
was, off the back of the fight, talk about breaking of jaw and various things like that. In the fight, now listen, whether that happened or it didn't happen, in the fight you thought that scenario, you thought that you had brought your jaw, but you carried on regardless. What did that moment teach you about you? Because you'd never been in that scenario before. You've never been in a scenario where the dog in you had to be dragged out. You thought there was a scenario going on, but you continued. What did you learn about yourself in that moment?
Yeah, all the fights leading up to that moment, have been so dominant for me. They've been one-sided. No one's been able to push me to that limit and have to bring out that dog side of me. So, I didn't break my jaw in the fight. As much as they want to run with that narrative, nothing was broken. The only thing that was broken was Marty's spirit. That's why he doesn't want to run the rematch back right away, and he's looking for easy paychecks. But in that moment, he landed a good shot. I wasn't fighting smart. Like I said, going back to fighting emotional, I was fighting with my hands down. I was laughing. I wasn't taking him serious. Before, I was serious. Now I'm not playing, or before I wasn't serious. I was playing games. It was all for show. I was trying to put on, just a good, entertaining show for the fans. Now I'm serious. Now it's serious business. And Saturday night, you're going to see the real dog come out of me.
How does this one play out differently than the first one?
This one plays out much different. I'm going to push him to the brink of exhaustion. He's not going to have a ref in there to stop my momentum, and I'm going to push him to the limit. I'm going to put him in the deep end of the big kids pool, and he's going to drown. He's just not going to be able to keep up with my pace. He's very good at being able to control fights by controlling pace, controlling the takedowns. He can't take me down. There's a reason he's D2 and I'm D1, and I truly will. I'll do whatever I need to do Saturday night, but I'm going to beat him everywhere. I'm going to beat him kickboxing. I'm going to beat him wrestling, but most of all, this is mixed martial arts, and I'm going to show you who the most well-rounded mixed martial artist is.
I think that's the key thing in the fight, because the first time, listen, from a fan's point of view, we're all entertained. We're sat there, we're loving it because carnage is happening right in front of us. It was a great fight to watch. But from your point of view, the same thing, and his point of view, the same thing was happening over and over again. Like you said, it became a kickboxing match. You're a very well-rounded mixed martial artist, so therefore there's got to be different looks coming into this fight in order to then give you opportunities to do your thing.
Yeah, and as a mixed martial artist who's striving to be one of the best that the world's ever seen, I want to be the GOAT. And you have to keep adding wrinkles to your game every fight camp and keep showing new looks every single time. So people haven't seen the best of me yet, and I've truly been holding back my true potential and showing the world what I'm really capable of. But now I got great energy surrounding me, new coaches, a new gym, and just a new sense of motivation. And Saturday night, they're going to see the well-rounded Colby that they've all been waiting for.
You seem to have a new attitude as well. Like in the past, it's been, and I know you've talked about the personality being cranked up to 11, and that resonates with some, it doesn't resonate with others. But you've been a lot quieter on social media, which implies to me as a person that follows this sport that you are taking it seriously. You are behind closed doors doing the work in order to get the job done, because the most important thing for you is to become the champion of the world at the weekend.
That's right, man. I get goosebumps just hearing you say that. That's a dream of mine that I've had since I was a little boy. And I promised my parents, I promised wrestling coaches when I was a little kid that I was going to be a world champion. Like, I knew it was my destiny, and I knew God had a great plan for me. And as long as I kept to the plan, that I was going to be able to accomplish that. So now here we are. We're 4 or 5 days away from getting a chance to get another opportunity at it. I'm grateful for the UFC giving me this opportunity. Dana White, Hunter Campbell, Sean Shelby, everybody at the UFC, they've done a great job. Now I get to show what I'm really made of. And Saturday night's going to be beautiful in the most iconic arena in the world, Madison Square Garden.
In December, we have a fight for one of our British fighters, Leon Edwards, taking on one of your old friends, Jorge Masvidal. How do you think that one's going to play out?
I don't think there's anybody on the roster that Street Judas Masvidal can beat anymore. So, whoever they put him in there with, will get their hand raised. I've seen the lifestyle that Street Judas Masvidal lives. The guy's fragile, and he's not disciplined. He's not in the gym working hard every single day. So it doesn't really matter who the UFC matches him up with. He'll get beat by anybody.
If you're the champion after that fight, does the winner of that fight get you?
I'm not the matchmaker, that's the UFC's job. I want to fight the biggest and best fights, and whatever the UFC wants to do, then I'll be ready for it. I'll be ready for the biggest and best challenges. I want to give the people and the fans their money's worth and what they deserve. So if that's what the people want, if that's what the UFC wants, let's do it, man. I'm the best in the world. I'm not hiding from nobody.
And what did you make of Khamzat Chimaev's performance at the weekend against Li Jingliang?
Oh, come shot Chimaev? What is that? What has he got? 3 fights in the UFC? He hasn't fought anybody ranked or?
4, yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 fights. Oh, 4 fights in the UFC. Wow. And we're talking about this guy like he's ready for a title shot. He's ready for the top of the division. When he starts fighting guys that are in like the top 5, then we can start talking about him potentially, fighting these top name fights. But until then, the guy's nobody. He got put down by the cold. The dude was ready to retire because of the cold. He was crying about this COVID. Man, all you need is some vitamin C. So think about that. He was ready to retire from the cold. Imagine what I would do to him. I'm not the cold. The cold has a 99.9% survival rate. I'll tell you what, you get in the UFC octagon with me, it's a lot less survival rate than that.
Do you think at any point the fans will get to see more of the real you? You've just mentioned there, you made a promise to your parents and you made a promise to family members about wanting to be the champion of the world. They will have supported you along this journey, taking you to camps, taking you to training, all those types of things. Do you think the fans will ever get the opportunity to see inside the real you?
they get to see inside the real me all the time. Sometimes I just turn it up to 11. I mean, the thing is people can't care. People shouldn't be so concerned with the things I'm saying on social media or what I'm saying to other fighters. You're watching us go into a fight and try and kill each other. So you're bloodthirsty savages on one token, and you want to see a guy die inside the octagon. But on the other thing, you're hurt by some words I'm saying. Like, what is this, the Ultimate Feelings Championship? I thought this was the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And, going back to what you said about how I've been quieter on social media, it's just I'm taking this fight more serious. I'm more grounded. I'm more focused, and I want this more than I want to breathe. I don't care about anything else in my life. All I want is that world title. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And I knew whatever it takes was going to take, putting all my energy into this. Before, I put all my energy into promoting the fight, selling the tickets, getting the pay-per-view to draw good. I want all that stuff to happen, but, I want to be world champion more than anything.
So will we go up to 12 personality if it happens on Saturday night? Will it go even further? What will happen?
I got a lot of surprises in store for you on Saturday night. I don't think the world's ready for this, but I can promise you, you're going to get your money's worth.
Regarding how this plays out, you've alluded to the fact that it's going to be more of a mixed martial arts contest than a kickboxing contest. Do you see this playing out over 25 minutes, or when you shut your eyes at night and you're starting to really focus in on how you think this contest is going to play out, do you see a finish?
The biggest thing, I don't want to give away my game plan. And also, it's like when you watch a movie, you watch the beginning of the movie, you don't get to see the ending of the movie right away. You got to watch the movie to see the ending. So you got to tune in on pay-per-view, check your cable providers, make sure you got the pay-per-view ready to order. And I know you'll be in attendance on Media Row on Saturday night, and you're going to see a beautiful display of violence. I will get my hand raised. I'll do whatever it takes to get my hand raised. Doesn't matter what broken bone I have. Doesn't matter what I have to do to get it. I will do it. I will go through hell and back to get that world title.
What does it mean to you to fight at Madison Square Garden as well? An iconic venue, not only for fight sports, but professional wrestling, because I know you're a big fan of that. That's obviously staged some huge, huge events. Now you're the main attraction at Madison Square Garden.
Man, it's a dream come true. When you think about Madison Square Garden and all the people that have headlined it, Hulkamania, Muhammad Ali, Rolling Stones, Colby Covington. What do all those people have in common? Hall of Famers, legends, world champions, the best at what they do. So it's a dream come true. I know these people of this city of New York, they're miserable. De Blasio, their mayor, is just, he's terrible. He's tried to confine and lock down this city and not let these people be free.
Why'd you do that?
Why'd I do what?
That's what I mean. Why did you then bring the politics of stuff? I know that obviously you got passions for that. Why did you bring that into the sporting arena and speak about that now?
That's facts, though. I'm the ultimate fact champion. I always bring facts and truth to the things that I say, and that's truth. You can't keep these people caged like the animals. You got to let them roam free. That's what the constitutional rights here in America are all about, is having freedoms and having our constitutional rights to enjoy our lives and live. So, I'm going to give the people what they want this weekend. That's why I'm the people's champion. I'm going to put on a good show for them and make them forget about this 2 years of scam-demic that we've been going through.
Listen, we're looking forward to it. This is going to be big. It feels bigger than the first time around. I don't know whether it feels like that for you. Go well this week, man, because I think it's going to be very, very special come Saturday night. Thank you very much for your time here on BT Sport, Colby.
Thanks, buddy.